Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thursday night's edition of Sports Wrap. Talking all hockey tonight. A good crew lined up, try to get you up to date with some of the latest hockey news in and around the sport. And we'll be doing this show hockey as often as we can get the information. But Sports Wrap will be a constant no matter what happens on Thursday night. We'll just have a little bit more maneuverability during the off season. The constants on Sports Wrap will be George Eichhorn and I. Taylor Phillips figures to get a fair amount of airtime. And of course, for the hockey portion, Cody Spink is the guy I'm turning to on the West Coast. Mike Santos has the summer off, but we'll be doing it when he returns. So I'll be seeing Mike probably within a few weeks or so. Candy and I have been really busy on the road. We were in Europe, Iceland for a couple of weeks, and now we bounced back to Detroit for my nephew's Brock's wedding. So congratulations, Brock, and my new niece in waiting. Her name is Brittany, so I'm looking forward to catching up with them on Saturday. But that said, we have a really packed show tonight. Let's get to it. I'll introduce particulars. Taylor Phillips is what I call Mr. Versatile. Wherever I tell him he need to go, Taylor Phillips says, okay, good enough for me. And he's here tonight, right, Mr. Phillips? There you go. Magnifying glass or not, you're a little
Of course.
This is trademark magnifying glasses, okay, and of course, Mr. Spink. Welcome back from the West Coast.
How you doing?
All right, and last but not least, the guy drag all over the place, George Eichhorn. See you on Saturday. We have some business to take care of tonight.
All right, good to be on with you guys. Thanks.
All right, so let's get to the agenda right now. We're going to talk about the Florida Panthers are the newest repeat champions. They're going to join the 1998 to 2000 New York Yankees, 2017-2018 the Golden State Warriors, and the Kansas City Chiefs, 2022-2023. Pretty good company, right, Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, it is.
What about you, Cody?
Oh no, I'm of course I'm excited when a team in my division doesn't win, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay. And you, George?
Well, I'll tell you what, Scott and guys, these Florida hockey teams are hot. They're one hot property right now. And congratulations to the Panthers. Yeah, that's a league company. Those are some great teams. It's always difficult, as we know, to win back-to-back cups. But boy, oh boy. And before them, of course, I'm referring to the Tampa Bay success several years ago.
The Stanley Cup has definitely been here in Florida for a while, and nobody seems to wrestle it out of the Sunshine State for sure. Incidentally, Mr. Eichhorn, that was a very good segue to where we're going right now, meaning the Florida Panthers are having, when I go out there and tell you that we are titling the Florida Panthers a Mauling the off-season, mark my word, that's exactly what we are talking about. The Florida Panthers sign Aaron Ekblad for an 8-year, $6.1 annual estimated value contract. Brad Marchand stays with the Cats, gets 6 years as well. He'll get, I believe, $32 million. And of course, you're going to have Sam Bennett, 8 years, $64 million as well. So you're keeping this team is keeping their core intact, aren't they, Taylor?
Yeah, they are. The Florida Panthers are here to stay. They're not going anywhere because the Panthers are just not only focused but hell bent on winning at least a three-peat of Stanley Cup championships and so on and so forth, because they have elite players and they're gonna keep on stacking the deck.
Well,
so everybody better watch out.
Coach Zito's done an unbelievable job, right, Cody?
Yeah, he was. I still don't know how he didn't win GM of the year. He was my number one pick for sure. But like I said, to get all those Ekblad re-signing, the Marchand re-signing, the Bennett re-signing, all at really good deals for years, that's, I mean, it kind of ruined my thing because I wanted Ekblad on the Ducks. But, I mean, if you're going to stay there, I don't blame you. I would have done the same thing as all three. I mean, and giving a 37-year-old guy a 6-year deal, that's I feel like that's crazy.
Yeah, the Marchand contract, by the way, is at $32 million. Hi, Siversky. How are you? Glad to have you as well. And all right, George. So they're definitely doing a pretty good job maintaining their core with those three guys. I think that alone was a pretty good coop right there by Bill Zito.
Yeah, that's been a great organization now for a number of years, no question about it. And they have, gone to work, as they say, and try to get these players signed and the contracts extended to, like you said, their marquee players. That's good work by the ownership. That's good work by the front office. And obviously the coaching staff wants these guys back. You don't want to lose too many. We all know that you can't keep everybody, as we learned in all sports, for more than a year or two in a row. But I really think that, they're loaded right now, and they're obviously the favorite in my books to three-peat because they've got so much depth on that team. But it'll be a long year. We'll see what happens a year from now. But I'm really thinking that they were very wise in extending and signing those players that they did.
Well, when you put the whole thing in its total totality, I mean, you can't keep everybody, but it looks like they are. And the reason why they are is a lot of these guys might take a couple of dollars less because they want to play together and have something good. Bill Zito's done a great job. Paul Maurice has done an unbelievable job as well. Now, how do you really debate a lot of that stuff? You really can. You can't keep anybody. And then they add a little piece that we're familiar with, Troy Petrie, for pennies on the dollar, or what, $775,000. You get 60 games out of this guy, all of a sudden you got yourself a bargain at the dollar store for a guy that's just cup hungry, changes, and he won't pay any state income tax on that money as well. So let's stay with that theme, because now I'm going to continue as the Panthers, like I said, have the. Now get this. You say you can't keep everybody, but if there's a reason to give this team a puncher's chance to repeat, I'll give you a nice list of names. The Panthers have these players locked up through at least 2030. Got Alexander Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart, Carter Verhaeghe, Anton Lundell, Brand Marchand, Seth Jones, Aaron Ekblad, and Gustav Forsling. That is not, that to me is unbelievable.
Way too good.
Isn't it, Taylor? Again, I'm going to continue the rotation that I have so everybody knows when they're going to be called on. Taylor,
it's out there.
10 guys out here that, what do you need? 20 some guys to fill out a roster. You already got 10 already in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we'll turn over to Cody.
To have that many guys signed through 2030 is crazy. And it's not like they're all bottom wingers or bottom men guys. They're all core guys. Guys have been there for years. They know how to win. They want to win. I feel like every team in the league should probably learn what Florida's doing right now. Because I think the Ducks only have one player signed after 2028. One guy. That's it. So, to have all these, and you got some Hall of Famers that are in that signed through there still for Florida.
Yeah. Taylor, anything else you want to add to this? You talk about 10 guys sitting on your bench making until 2030. You're not asking.
It's as if the entire team is darn good, is elite.
Right.
A team full of elite players. Also in goal, Sergei Bobrovsky. Don't forget.
Right. Yeah, I think he's supposed to be a free agent, not this year, but the year after. And you never know. If you get another year out of him. Yeah, I think so too, the way things are going. But so you bring him back, then you have another piece. And the Panthers, the only thing they'll have to do is just make sure they have a successor ultimately in line. Joshua Dorr is very active in the chat room. Great stuff, Joshua. This is a great topic. Let's go. That's what we're doing, Josh. Keep the comments coming. Okay, the Panthers' biggest poverty franchise in professional sport. I don't know if that's the word he wants to use, but they're definitely elite. I guess that's the word I'll probably refer to. What Josh's comments are laying out the groundwork. Let's see what else. I've been covering the Panthers since I have been dragging nuggets in a diaper. Okay, that's interesting. I've never heard that comment on a hockey show before, but I'll let him go ahead and talk about it because I know the individual and he definitely I know where his head is at. That's why I'm allowing it to go. I had a skirt steak for dinner. I don't know, what do you guys have for dinner? I had some chicken nuggets that my wife made me and whatever was left of my breakfast because I slept all day to get ready for this thing. So, all right, well, talking food and all the bad years I experienced as a Panthers fans are worth it for what we have now. That'll be a good segue to what George and I are about to get to as well. So George, any final comments about what we're talking about with this core of players?
Well, yeah, I mean, what I like about them is the grit and the toughness they have. You look at these defensemen, okay, and you've got guys, Ekblad is what, 6'4", 215-pounder. You got Seth Jones, 6'4", 213. You got Nico, and he's 6'6", 204. They got good height on the defense. 6'3" is Jeff, picked up from Detroit, Jeff Petrie. They signed Jeff at age 37 for 1 year. Good for Jeff Petrie. And then, of course, up front, these guys, these are not only good hockey players, they're damn good athletes. They stay in a great shape, obviously, as we all know, which you have to do for the long grind of the NHL season and the long playoffs. But yeah, they're stacked, man. They're stacked. They're motivated, and it looks to me like you said, Scott, they're signing these guys to these deals. They're going to be up in the top echelon for quite a number of years, it looks like.
Yeah. Hey, Cyberusi, let me give you some words of wisdom, okay? And you need to chillax, okay? That you need to do. And JD Wyatt, in my opinion, this guy is another guy I'd like to get on this show as well. JD Wyatt's an unbelievable contributor on our network. He really, really is. And for those that can work with a guy, he's a loyal individual, just like everybody I have on here. Yeah, I definitely looking at some of these comments. If you're a contributor, look at JD Wyatt. This guy is unbelievable. This guy's unbelievable. We're finding he's on the country club tonight with Candy and Samira, and it should be an entertaining show. Actually, Fire Up will follow up. I call it the country club. Candy Ebling and JD Wyatt are the two people in there. We have some other contributors as well. So Taylor, he had a little brief time in the country club, but we had to bring him back that so he can hang out with the old geezers. That's what we had to do with Phillips. But anyway, JD Wyatt, you're the best, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to do. He doesn't know about hockey, Joshua Rohr, but you know what? As far as I'm concerned, he'll learn. JD Wyatt is about the most coachable person on the planet, and he's come a long way. So he doesn't know about hockey, he'll learn it. But the guy that you mentioned above, to me, he is what he was. I don't think he knows about much of anything, but that's beside the point.
By the way, I apologize to JD for the last time I was on air. It's an undisclosed reason. We'll just leave it at that.
That's fine. Okay, so there you go, JD. You're hearing it from Taylor Phillips. So onwards we go. Bury that, but at least you guys are A-okay, and that's good enough too. So you can, if you want to, you should go in their chat room tonight and make sure that him and Candy and Samir are on there. No, they might invite you back there to have some easy going fun in there, but that's okay. JD Wyatt to me is unbelievable. I like this guy. He grows on you after a while. So he's setting up he's like you, Taylor. You got to be one of those guys that can move around the planet. Cody, to me, is specialized in this, and this is exactly where he needs to be. George, well, I just drag him everywhere. If you heard that before. All right, one more topic we're going to get to before we go out there and segue over to a station break. The Detroit Red Wings, unfortunately, are mourning the loss of Alex Delvecchio, who peacefully passed away at the age of 93 at his home. George and I are certainly old enough to understand Alex Delvecchio. I met Delvecchio before, and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, certainly before many times, for sure. So any thoughts about Alex Delvecchio, Taylor?
Well, Alex Delvecchio is one of the all-time Red Wings greats. For him to live for 93 years on Earth.
Yeah.
Thanks, JD, for forgiveness, by the way. But Alex Delvecchio, one of the Hall of Famers, along with Sid Abel, Gordie Howe, Terry Sawchuk, all those guys. They will always be remembered, especially Delvecchio.
Yeah, well, Gordie Howe and Terry Sawchuk. One thing I said about the Red Wings, they had a dry period when we were growing up, right, George, at our height.
Yeah.
And they got it figured out for a lot of years, like 25 years in a row in the playoffs. So Alex Delvecchio was a general manager and a coach for them, and he stayed around. His tenure wasn't as as successful as it would have been, in the front office. But Alex Delvecchio was a Red Wing through and through between. So, any thoughts about Alex Delvecchio, Cody?
No, I mean, well before my time. So,
It's okay. No big deal.
Well, I'll bail you out, Cody.
I appreciate that, George.
Scott, you nail it, man. We grew up on these guys. One you did not mention, Taylor, of course, is the great Ted Lindsay.
Oh, yes.
And even when they made that trade and they brought the big M, Frank Mahavlich, over, and he fit in so nicely with Gordy and Alex on that production line. After Sid had, of course, retired and Ted had been dealt back, I believe, to Chicago and then retired. But getting back to Delvecchio, you know what he reminds me of with that gray hair, premature gray hair. He looked like the dad out there or the Godfather out there. He was smooth as silk. The dirty work was done a lot by Gordy and by Ted. But Alex Delvecchio just set these guys up. He was great at the assists. And of course, you could score 20, 25 goals, of course, every year. But you know what? The thing is that after he retired, I remember this, he went into the engraving business, and he made a name for himself. He's one of those guys, like so many of them, as we know, that want to stay in the community, stay where they played. So Alex Delvecchio had a nice business set up after he left hockey and stayed around in the Detroit community. He came back for a few alumni games, but he wasn't, of course, he's in his 90s now. He wouldn't be playing anymore, but it's so good to see him and stay active in the community too, which I thought was really great of him and his family.
Okay, actually, Jack Fedora, please put this up. Can you discuss your upcoming meet with George Eichmann? Yeah, George and I are actually planning to meet on Saturday morning for a couple of hours. We'll discuss Sports Rap and some of the other projects that we have. Now we are working on. One is your contribution, but a good one now that you brought it up, Joshua. But yeah, we're going to meet up on Saturday morning when I return to Detroit. It's a tight window, 48 hours. And Saturday's my nephew's wedding. So I'm trying to fit it in and talk sports, rap, sports exchanges, and other things that we plan to do as well and so forth. So yeah, Josh, there you go, buddy. It's this trip in between a little bit of wedding stuff. That's what we'll be doing. But one thing we're going to do now, we're going to turn over to the station break. Candy Evelyn, go right ahead.
You are listening to the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company. We published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. It is written by our host, Scott the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And the foreword was written by George Eichhorn. It's a great book. Talks about old school media versus new school media. Anybody interested in getting in the business? It's the definite book to have. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. Get your copy today. It's also a link on our website at www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. Go check it out. If you want to advertise or sponsor any show, this show, Fire Up, any of them, please call Scott, 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest or have topic ideas you'd like us to cover, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And if you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Scott, back to you.
Thank you, Candy. We're going to talk about a trade. We're going to talk about a trade between two franchises for which George and I and Cody Smink are involved in. Cody Smink's been a real active part of this whole thing, man.
Yeah.
All right. Red Wings received goaltender John Gibson, Anaheim Ducks Peter Mrazek. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And then, of course, they'll get a second-round pick in the 2027 NHL draft. 2026, we get a fourth-rounder. So what are your thoughts? We're going to go to Cody first. Taylor, you can have the last word on this topic. How's that? All right?
Sure, yeah.
So thoughts, Cody, about this trade that came down. And I enjoyed it. By the way, I'm enjoying the activity in the chat room. It's starting to really become amusing between Joshua Cyberski and J.D. Wyatt. This is a good chat room. etiquette is all about everybody interacting with each other while we go out there and put our info. So what are your thoughts about the trade, Cody?
So, one, I'm happy we're finally done with the John Gibson trade rumors. I'm happy about that.
Okay.
Honestly, I would have preferred to keep him just for one more year, especially
Right.
since we still don't have Dostal signed. But in my opinion, I think this was a good move for Gibson. I feel like he needed a change of scenery. We get out of his, was it $6.25 million for the next 2 years, and we bring on Mrazek for 4.2. So we already saved over $2 million a year, and we have one less year with Mrazek. And Mrazek, I think, will be a great backup for Dostal. So, and honestly, I love the trade. I know Verbeek said he wanted a first round pick. We weren't getting a first round pick for Gibson. He was too hurt this last couple of years, but honestly, I hope he does well in Detroit. He needed better defense in front of him. The Ducks couldn't do that, so I'm pretty sure that Detroit will provide that better, especially with their coach there. I know he runs a good defensive system there. I can't think of his name at the top of my head. McClellan, I believe, right?
Yep. Todd McClellan, yeah.
Todd, I should have known because my dad talked about him for the Kings. But like I said, I think this is a great move for both sides.
George?
Yeah. The Red Wings, of course, have been, floundering in the goalie department. I mean, for several years now. So this didn't come as a big surprise to me. Gibson, like you stated, the rumors were out there for the last couple of years about him being dealt. I think it was a good deal for both teams. I agree with you. I think the Red Wings needed an upgrade in that position. People were really shocked. Most people were surprised or shocked when Yzerman dealt for Mrazek at the end of last year. I wasn't too surprised because, like I said, nobody wants to take claim, it seems like, to being number one goalie in Detroit. They've been blessed through the years with guys like Osgood and Jimmy Howard, and before that, of course, Mike Vernon and Hasek. But there's been a lot of goalies that have failed here too. And the fact of the matter is that whether it was Billy Husso or who it was going to be, or Alex Lyon, I mean, Yzerman and Kenny Holland went through the drill with all these guys. He went to the well, I should say, and they didn't pan out. Now Gibson's is a little bit older. I understand that. But I think the fresh scenery, a change of pace, change of teams should help him out. I think the Red Wings, and of course, like you mentioned, Cody, the Ducks got a good return on that. Peter Mrazek is not a number one, I don't believe anymore, but that's okay. You got your number one guy out there.
Yeah,
the Red Wings weren't going to make him number one in Detroit either. He was going to be a backup, but yeah, I think it's a decent deal, Scott. I really do. For both teams.
What about you, Taylor?
Well, John Gibson, I've done some research in comparison between Gibson and Mrazek. I have some proof right now. I'm trying to dig it up from my Facebook page, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. But I also have advanced hockey stats right here. John Gibson last season, 29 games played, 78.92 xGA. Like extra goals against value, 6.9. Yeah, expected. Yeah, expected goals against, and then 6.92 GSA expected goals saved, or something like that. But a 2.7 WAR, wins above replacement, and shots against 811, expected shots against percentage 90.27, save percentage 91.12, and then a defensive save percentage 0.85, or DSV percentage 0.85. So get John Gibson as an absolutely good trade acquisition in exchange for Peter Mrazek. I think the Red Wings will have a good platoon between John Gibson and Cam Talbot.
Right.
Yeah, because there it is. I got it. Goals saved above expected. That's what it stands for. Peter Mrazek a negative 14.0, fourth worst for the team. John Gibson, 15.3 above zero. That's 13th best in the league. Wow.
Okay. All right, let me go over a couple things with
That's
you,
from
okay?
Red Alert Podcast, the Detroit Red Wings podcast on Facebook. Boom.
All right, well, boom here. Let me give you guys a few things. First of all, Mark Merriday actually retired, so I enjoyed having him on the Thursday show. He was great. George will answer your question in a moment about whether the Wings will make the playoffs, so that'll be something that we talk about. So they'll go ahead and address that. The thing that I've noticed here with every comment here, yeah, you do have a Southern California connection here in the Midwest, right? So you got Talbot, and then you have Gibson. Think about it. Here, you want to talk about some ironies with all of this? You had Jared Goff going to Detroit, then you had Stafford going out to LA. So just for throwing it out there. Hey, I had to do it. I mean, I'm looking at all paying attention to what everybody's saying. But here's the real big kicker. Sebastian Costa is the number 3 guy right now. So you had to eliminate a little bit of that log jam to find out at some point or another if he's going to crack this lineup, whether it's an injury or whatever. So the key word here is stopgap is what you're looking at. If there's ever a time for Sebastian Costa to have a big training camp to make an impression that he should be up in Detroit versus Grand Arbor on the other side of 96, this is a make or break year for Sebastian Costa, period. No matter what the goaltending situation. Yes, they had to improve, but think about what you ended up getting for Mrazek. You acquired him from the Blackhawks, and then you shipped him to the West Coast for what you feel is a potential upgrade, is what you did. And that's how I look at the big picture of this entire, how it all has come down. So all right, George, why don't you go ahead and address Joshua's question about whether Detroit makes the playoffs?
Well, that's the $1 million question, Joshua Dorr. Of course, Detroit wants to make the playoffs this season. Is it a guarantee? Heck no. They are in a very, very difficult, and in fact, the Stanley Cup winning division. The Florida Panthers are in the same division. And the East is stacked, as we know. Detroit came within a whisker 2 seasons ago, finished decent this year, but not enough again. The fact of the matter is that you must upgrade at all positions, not just goalie, defensive. Yeah, and a lot of people are still concerned, as they should be, that Stevie did not do enough, Stevie Y, in the free agency. But he's got a little bit more time. They've got to develop some more players, like Scott alluded to with the goalie situation with Kosa and the stopgap with Gibson. But there's going to be a lot of upgrade. This is going to be very interesting. The prospects have been skating for the last week or so in their trial, if you will, or look-see kind of period with the coaches. No pressure on them, but they just want to get the young kids out there, as most teams do around this time of year. And then, of course, it's going to be interesting to see how they can come back from come with a full year under their head coach, which they did not have last year when Lalonde was fired right after Christmas. So they're in a situation now where Todd's going to be able to have the team for all of training camp, all of the exhibition season, all 8 exhibition games, whatever, before the season starts. So they got a shot at it, Joshua Dorr. But again, if I was a betting man, I'll say it's 50-50 maybe. I hope Detroit can do something though. 9 straight years now without the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, so he's not giving any guarantees this time.
No,
Josh, he isn't.
I
mean,
can't.
The East is extremely stacked, let alone that particular division.
Not to mention, the Red Wings also hired a new goaltending coach, Michael Layton, replacing Alex Westland. So that should help out too.
Another note worth mentioning: Alex Lyons has signed a 2-year deal to go with the Buffalo Sabres. So, as a free agent, so I'll just get that.
I remember that too.
I saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's up there for another FYI. But to go back with Joshua said, it doesn't matter what anyone did. Panthers winning again, of course. Well, I mean, I've already given you 9 million reasons why they should win their third reason. Obviously, early in the show, Joshua's pretty good about going over these shows, and whatever he misses early on, he usually goes out there and will watch them in their entirety anyway. So, as far as I'm concerned, whatever we mentioned, he'll ultimately get to him. Bear in mind, the guy is married with 2 young children, so he does the best he can to fit all that into his schedule. All these guys like Joshua and Cyberus, they try hard to contribute when they can. But Josh, he got 2 young ones, so he gets around to it. More power to this guy. Nevertheless, to continue on the theme with the NHL draft, the San Jose Sharks just selected Simon Wang, 33rd overall in the draft, making him the highest drafted Chinese player in NHL history. My goodness. All right, Taylor, we don't need 9 million stats about every player. We'll let you utilize your new toy. I'm just kidding with this guy, by the way, with his little toy. Okay, get it? Okay.
That's okay. I'll just do it on my podcast. Don't worry about it.
I'm just kidding with you. My gosh, it's okay. It's always good to have new toys to play with, right? You never know when you have to plug them in. But I don't know if you're going to not be able to spin one out on Simon Wang go out in Chinese. Is that little toy of yours cover Chinese hockey, or is it just the NHL? I'm asking you a question.
Oh, well, sorry, I dozed off. What was that again?
Yeah, that's okay. That new stat that you have that you're paying $5 a month, does that talk about Chinese hockey or the NHL?
It's the NHL. It's again advanced hockey stats.
Okay,
6.9. Yeah, now a 6.92 goals saved above expected for John
Okay.
Gibson.
Okay, but my question to you is: does advanced hockey stats have any information on Chinese players?
Chinese players? No.
Okay,
No,
that's all
not
I
that I
need.
read. No,
Good.
no, absolutely not.
All right, so therefore, the San
Not that I know
Jose
of.
Sharks, so the San Jose Sharks went out there and took Simon Wang, 33rd. He's the first Chinese player ever selected in the NHL. The highest drafted Chinese player in the NHL. So, any thoughts about that one, Taylor?
That's very interesting. It's very interesting. So I would give the Chinese hockey player some time. So to at least show them what he's made of, and see how their coaching staff can develop him and whatnot, and so on and so forth.
They must have saw something in front of them anyway. Sorry, Cody.
No, honestly, I think this is a good thing. It gives us another place to go for hockey, more fans, and honestly, I look forward to him in the NHL I hope he makes it, because I think that it's better for hockey. And honestly, I'm looking forward to what he does after, because he already after his career, because he said he wants to go back and make the Chinese program better and help more Chinese players come to NHL, and he's hoping that someone beats his record of being the highest drafted Chinese player. Like he wants someone to be drafted in the first round. So honestly, I think this is great for hockey and for all of hockey in general.
Okay, George.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of international flavor, as we know. There always has been in hockey, for crying out loud. We know that, obviously, from years gone by with the Russians and the Slavics and the many players that we've had from European countries. But boy, it's a breath of fresh air. It's good to hear about this. A young man that wants to play his game that he loves so much, hockey, and even though he's going to be miles and miles and miles away from home, doesn't matter. He's been taken by, like you said, the San Jose Sharks, good franchise. They're usually in contention, but again, his career it will take probably a couple more years or more, but to develop him, but to see this young man and the enthusiasm he brings from China, from his team, it is really, really exciting, and it's good to see this because it does bring a fullness to international hockey, which we all know is very, very important to the commissioner and to all the teams in the United States and Canada. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. That not right away, but it'll take some time. But yeah, Scott, I think it's good and welcoming this unexpected development here by the Sharks in the draft.
If you don't mind me adding, he wasn't just playing in China this last year. He was playing in the CHL this last year with the Austria Generals.
Oh yeah,
so it's not like he was coming straight from China. So at least
right,
you can get some of his stats with the CHL.
Great point. Thanks for adding that. First of all, we talk about it on 108 Stitches. Baseball talk is what we do, and that's that. How many guys are playing from a certain place for the first time at what we call reaches? But the one name I want to mention that talks about breaking ground is a guy by the name of Yao Ming. Remember Yao Ming, who ended up making new ground for the Houston Rockets, right?
Yep.
Well, I don't know why. For some reason, my first gut reaction was, I don't know if he'll be as high as Yao Ming, but boy, you're talking about a Chinese guy playing hockey. And then you talk about Yao Ming making headway out in that part of the world. And I'll preface back to what Cody said. You can start finding new places to find talent, and you find untapped territory like China to find. And this guy has a motivation. I want more and more guys from China to play the game. That's another story. Just like many years ago, there was not very much African American participation in hockey, right? All of a sudden, African Americans are finding their way to become great hockey players. You don't have to ask me. All you have to do is look at Jerome McGinley, Grant Fuhr, and the list goes on and on. And now you have a guy here who has a chance to dive into territory and put hockey on the map there. That could be another wealth of talent. It really could be. And then I'll even take it a little step further back. Remember when we had the initial dream team, right? Well, they were all getting autographs is what they were doing. All of a sudden, the international people started catching up to what was going on. So there's a lot of those type of tea leaves that we're throwing at along those lines. But again, my first point of reference is Yao Ming, Rockets, and now we have Simon Wang and San Jose Sharks. A few more things I want to get to. NHL mandates net cards for all new players starting in the 26-27 season. Anyone who's played at least one game will not have the choice to opt out of this. All right, Taylor, some thoughts about the NHL mandating net guards.
Net guards, it is for every fan's own safety. Remember what happened to Brittany Cecil in the 01-02 season? That's where they put up the nettings the following days. So that goes. So whenever the puck hits the netting, it's deemed out of play. So net guards, I would say to put them all over the entire rink, that would be even safer for the fans too. So
okay,
no matter what happens, no matter how it's done.
So we're talking net guards. Okay, for player safety, Taylor.
Player safety. Okay.
Like what Kopitar wears.
Yeah,
like
right.
The
Exactly.
neck
You
guard.
know,
That would be good because that would protect a player's neck from getting like cut with a skate.
Yeah. Skate, blade.
right,
Yes,
exactly.
it's a puck, anything.
It's all relative, Taylor, into player safety is where we're going with this topic. Just so you know.
Right, exactly.
Okay. All right, Cody, continue on, please.
No, honestly, like I wish I never would have watched that video of what happened in England.
Right.
I had a hard time sleeping that night after watching that video, and I was even warned, do not watch the video. But I feel like this is great for player safety because nobody wants to see that. Not even just the guy on the ice, but everyone that was in the stands. Nobody wants to see something like that happen on the ice. So honestly, anything that's going to help prevent, something like that happening, I'm all for. And honestly, like what Kopitar, he just wears the neck one. They're not asking for the whole padding or anything like that. It's just
Right.
Some guys are making just like a t-shirt and it just covers the neck right here.
Right. Exactly.
So it's just one extra clothing, and I don't know. And I know some hockey players are very against just adding anything that's going to ruin their superstition, but I think safety is more important than superstition.
Well, I played the catching position way back when. Then now, as time went on, catchers had something right down the middle there just to prevent the impact of the ball going into that area. So,
I was a catcher too, and
right.
I even umpired baseball, and I had the chin strap, and everyone asked me why.
Right.
I'm like, it just takes one time, and
Exactly.
and it hurts. And I've been hit here, but here's it's really going to hurt the most. So honestly, like I said, player safety is what's the most important thing.
Oh, no question about it. George. I'll let you cap out the topic. 2 more to go before we go to
Yeah, and I know it's something. I know it is something that has already been tried in some of the other leagues, and in fact, the American Hockey League mandated these protective visors ahead of the 2006-2007 season. The NHL is doing the right thing here. Now, granted, they can't force all the players that have been around a long time, at least at the outset. They're not going to force them to have neck guards. But that terrible death in 2023 that you alluded to between the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers and the death of Adam Johnson, just horrendous. But let's not dwell on that. Let's move forward. Let's develop these neck guards here to help the players so we don't see a repeat of this. It's a very serious situation, and I think the NHL is doing the right thing. There's a nice article that Frank Saravelli wrote at the NHL website, their hockey writer, I'm sorry, at the Daily Faceoff. And one of the things that people are watching for is obviously more safety. And you got to have that. That's a very, very important thing, any sport, but especially hockey.
Well, the biggest thing about this is player safety is being more and more emphasized across the sport with all sports. You see what's happening in football with the guardian caps. They're trying to work that. Now you have this neck guard. So I don't know what you have with the NBA. I mean, but I'm sure that if there's a way to enhance safety there, they will. So, but the neck guard is an important piece of equipment that people better start taking note of. Two more things we're going to get to. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl only had 1 point each in the final 2 games of the Stanley Cup final. You're not winning a cup that way, are you, Taylor?
No, absolutely not. Because I understand Sergei Bobrovsky is a great goaltender, but really this is inexcusable, really, for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I'm sorry, they're better than that.
I agree. All right, Cody.
I mean, to have Connor McDavid is probably the number 1 player in the world, and Draisaitl's top 5, top 3, right. And they only each have 1 point in the last 2 games. That can't happen. They are the leaders, and they're going to be the highest paid players in the next couple of years. Draisaitl's going to be the highest paid player this next season. Right. So they got to perform. They lost last year. You think they would have wanted it more, but it looked like Florida just wanted it more than Edmonton. You would think they would learn, because trust me, I hate losing. If I would have lost like that, I would have not have played the way like McDavid and Draisaitl did like that.
Couldn't agree more, George.
Oh yeah, I mean, when the big money's on the line, when the big deciding games are on the line, you got to have your top scorers out there, and they got to be scoring and assisting or setting up plays, if you will. There's no question about it. And I kind of thought the same thing. I really did, Cody. I thought that the Oilers, obviously from the experience of a year ago, were going to be better prepared. Right. It was a great series a year ago, and it turned out to be a really good series this year, but they just fell short. But you got to have your stars out there. And if you don't, you better have plenty of guys in reserve that could pick up the slack, which is hard to do. Yeah. So I really think that Draisaitl and McDavid, obviously, and we saw you guys probably saw some of that. They showed some of that video footage of McDavid cussing and swearing at his teammates before the last couple of games of that series, the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, it was on that face-off show. Yeah.
Yes. He was very upset with his teammates and himself, but it didn't translate into a Stanley Cup win, though.
Yeah, well, the big thing is a lot of people thought Edmonton had a chance to learn from what they had done before, as you guys alluded to.
Yeah.
Reality,
I thought so.
I did too. I think a lot of us thought that they all had a shot to win it. And they had home advantage as well. 4 games up in Edmonton, you would think. But the Panthers just simply manhandled them, outmuscled them. Their experience obviously played into this whole thing. And they wanted it more, and they ended up getting it more. And that's a great segue to for our final topic of the night because Perry said, I'm going to leave Edmonton. And where am I going to join? I'm going over to Ken Holland's LA Kings. And this is a story that I saw on Royally Collect. Good stuff there, Cody. We saw it. What led to Mr. Perry going to SoCal?
Oh my God! On July 1st, I've never been one. I've never wanted to get sick more in my life than seeing someone that I grew up watching for years watch a Stanley Cup, watch him win a Stanley Cup with my favorite team, go to our rival right down the road. Never thought I would see the day where Corey Perry would be in a Kings jersey, ever. But honestly, like, I don't blame the Kings. If you can't beat them, I guess join them in a way. But I mean, the reason why the Kings lost was because they weren't playing their bottom six that much. They had no depth at all in the playoffs, and that move kind of helps them, get more depth. He knows how to win. I mean, just not in the last round, but I mean, at least you can maybe pencil in the Kings making the Stanley Cup final this year, but losing, like, because Corey Perry's on it. But all around, I get the move. It makes me sick to my stomach seeing Perry in a Kings. Just thinking about it makes me sick.
I can't imagine. Yeah, well, you think about what you have on SoCal. You have the freeway series between the Dodgers and the Angels.
Well, that's
And
not much of a series.
Well, I'm just saying the rivalry. Well, series is another story. You're right. I give you that.
And I'm an Angels fan saying that, so.
Well, you're like, you got Anaheim written all over you. I get it.
Yep.
And it's also on your hat, too. So,
yep.
So it's not like I can't see between what we have miles and miles apart. Yeah. But I breathe, yeah. But nevertheless, what this has, the tea leaves like when Wayne Gretzky ended up going from Edmonton all the way to, LA. So not the impact won't be as long, but their similarities will be there. George?
Yeah, 1 year, $4 million. Kenny Holland and the Kings are giving Corey Perry. And, he's unfortunately, he's played in Stanley Cup finals in 5 of the last 6 seasons and has not won a single one on the losing side in all 5 of those series. Coming close a couple times, but yeah, it is kind of odd. And I know what you're saying, Cody, to see him switch the uniforms there close by the Ducks and the Kings. But he's fallen short, and he's trying to, I guess, capture some lightning in a bottle, as they say, Kenny Holland, by signing him. He gave him the 1 year contract, so he doesn't score 30 goals like he used to anymore, but he's still a good player. He's good prime of his career, and he's still got some good hockey left in him. It'll be interesting to see, but they're going to need much more than him to obviously try to beat out in the West teams like Winnipeg and Edmonton. But the Kings are going to give it their best shot, as all the teams are, I'm sure.
Well, as I alluded to earlier, when the Florida Panthers got Jeff Petrie,
yeah,
the Wings, pennies on the dollar. Corey Perry's obviously a much better player than Jeff Petrie, but this isn't a bad move for them. It really isn't.
Well, Jeff Petrie's just the next OEL. He's the next Nate Schmidt. That's all he is. You just give him the minimum dollar you can get, and then he performs, and then he's going to sign the 3-year, $5 million a year contract after. Watch.
Exactly. It's what you call a proven deal is what you really have. If you're worthy of staying, we'll give you a bit of a raise. It doesn't hurt. So, yeah, I see nothing but let's face it, if you're going to lose Stanley Cup, you lose them to teams in the Sunshine State. You don't feel too bad. Once upon a time you didn't have any teams in the Sunshine State. Now Sunshine State owns the frozen pond. Go figure. All right, Taylor.
Well, Corey Perry is mostly a good goal scorer. From what I can estimate, but can he forecheck at even strength? He's average at that. He's also a bit average in the back check in his own zone, defending in front of his own goaltender. At even strength, his strength on the power play is not as good, but he can sure finish plays as well as score goals. Just Also, sometimes he has trouble staying out of the penalty box. Right now, I see him as a fourth liner at age 39. He's getting old. He still has a little bit left in the tank, I guess, but there comes a time where he's got to hang it up as well.
Right. Well, hockey's a much faster sport. So the fact he's lasted in the sport this long is more power to him. But you're right. Retirement is something that these guys are all thinking about. But some of these guys are going to hang around the extra year or two if they have a chance to get the that Stanley Cup in their pocket, then they can walk out on top. But point well taken, though, Taylor. It really is because let's face it, you're so close so many times. You're hoping that you can not only get a few extra bucks in your pocket, but you have one shot at winning it all. And he's been on the cusp the last few years. Why not? So good point, Taylor Phillips. Appreciate incorporating that information into the whole thing. We're going to bring on Candy Embley for a moment. She's going to give us a preview of what's going on in the country club. Go ahead, Candy.
A preview. Well, we're going to be talking a little bit about NASCAR. We're going to talk a little bit about MLB and the All-Star game coming up. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Deion Sanders and him saying that the CFP needs to put a salary cap on.
Great stuff.
So join us at approximately a little after 9:30 or 9:30 or so for our show, but keep enjoying Sports Wrap here.
All right. Well, while you're on here, Candy, why don't you give us a final station break, and then we'll get the ball rolling over to you.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And the foreword is written by George Eichhorn. Both panelists here tonight. Taylor and Cody, you guys are among the elite. They wrote this book. It talks about old school media versus new school media and how media has changed over the course of 40 plus years that these two gentlemen have been working together. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great other content as well. Go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Monday nights is baseball night. Tuesday nights is football. Wednesday nights, you never know what you're going to be getting. Thursday nights is hockey, and then again, you never know what you're going to be getting on Fire Up. Scott also does a one-on-one interview show. You should check it out. It's called the Motor City Madmouth Show. He did it yesterday with former MLB manager Mickey Callaway. Go check out his interview. And there's a plethora of other great content on the YouTube channel, so go check that out as well. And if you see that red subscribe button, hit it, like us, share us with all your friends and family. We love to put out content, and we want you to enjoy it. In fact, sooner rather than later, you'll be starting to get some of the content. Scott did all kinds of little interviews while he was on vacation, while we were on vacation. Some of them are from Amsterdam, Norway, Iceland. Keep watching that. Turn on that notifications on your YouTube so that you get notified once we put up some of those videos. I know you're going to enjoy them. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, please email them to us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to you, Scott.
Great point. Also, I should mention one in England for Chelsea, the football club. I ran across a guy on July 4th who is actually from the Metro Detroit area, who I actually interviewed as well over inside the stadium. It was a really cool interview. So, Cody, I think if anybody will get an appreciation of it, it'll probably be you, because this guy's from our neck of the woods and was out there. And of course, we talked about soccer and Metro Detroit, what they're doing as well. I believe they're building a soccer stadium by where Southwest General Hospital is,
Correct.
by Burner Highway, if I remember right.
Yep.
In fact, I had some grandparents that actually owned a furniture store called Gaps KAPS many years ago, right on that hospital site where my grandfather had a heart attack. They transferred to. Now I understand the hospital's been taken down in favor of that soccer stadium. More power to what they're doing out there. And as I mentioned to Cody, I think that Chelsea Football Club stadium was just surreal to go to. It really was, and I had an unbelievable time.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I ended up taking the tour twice is what ended up happening because I didn't know what I could get with interviews of little mini, so I said, heck with it. Let's just go out there and do two of them. And I was able to get my little nuggets in between here and there during potential stuff. It worked out really well. I had a lot of fun. You talk about something that fell into my lap the way that one did. Yeah, yeah, again, maybe down the road I'll get a jersey, but I don't think I have that many jerseys, anyways. I look at it this way: I have a bigger than a jersey. I got a bunch of videos with memories written all over them, and some unbelievable pictures, and the people that I spoke to are just unbelievable. So, pretty cool stuff. It's been July 4th out in England. Once upon a time, July 4th, Independence Day, United States, right? Now all of a sudden, I'm tracing everything back to the Revolutionary War between the two countries. I mean, I'll tell you, if you ever go to the UK, though, I've never seen one most intriguing place with the history of those buildings as long as they are to restore it. So London was a pretty cool city. It reminded me a lot of New York, area because of how busy it is and all the action and all that. So when the time comes, should we make another trip up to New York? Well, New York we'll probably go back to, but if we get back out to London, because I plan to do a lot more international travel going forward, that's pretty much everything I need to do right now. Domestically, should I go back to London, it'll be more of a defined type of thing, whether it's Wimbledon or maybe an NFL game. But I have too many other places I want to get to before London reappears on our itinerary for sure. So great show tonight with all you guys. Cody, you did a great job. Again, I'm telling you, big things with you this summer. And of course, we'll make sure you're in the rotation during the winter. The Cody Spink, everybody, to me, is a guy, along with George Eichhorn, and Taylor, I move him wherever he does, and he handles everything with grace. So I'm not worried about it. He's our MVP because his ability to move around some too. So Cody, I'm counting on some big things with you, Mr. Spink, this summer. Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
So meanwhile, while you're looking forward to it, why don't you look forward to giving everybody an opportunity to let how they know how they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so we go live on YouTube and Twitch every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're on all podcast platforms. We just did two big King's Grades episode and a Ducks grade. We brought on the Puck podcast people. I don't know if you heard about them. They have, I think, the longest or first ever hockey podcast. We had each of the hosts on each one, and we're going to have a full draft day recap this Saturday. So everyone look forward to that, and I like to hear everyone's thoughts on everything. And I'm looking forward to this Roger McQueen guy. So really looking forward to that. And we're on all social media as well at Royally Quacked.
Wow, and now he's a part of our show here on Sports Rap as well.
Yep.
And he's been a team player, but now he's, when you make it on the second show with us here, Mr. Spink, we have a little conversation about more and more appearances, and you continue to do some really unbelievable things. We're glad to have you on here. George, what can I say? Let everybody know how they get a hold of you. Of course, we'll be meeting on Saturday. Probably a good chance we'll be talking tomorrow night when I get back to the hotel wherever I'm going to be at. So
yeah, you can get a hold. Yeah. Sorry. I've been writing for the Detroit Monitor and been in radio and television, mostly writing most of the time, and the Detroit Monitor is local paper. But I'm also part of the South Florida Tribune Network, and my articles appear on the contributor section for the South Florida Tribune. And at the end of my articles, there's always a link there that'll take you to the Amazon page where my book is available. It's called Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air, and it's written quite a number of years ago, but it's still very popular. There's a lot of great history in that book with guys that are legends in Detroit broadcasting history, such as Bud Lynch, Bruce Martin, Ernie Harwell, Paul Carey, George Blaha, Frank Beckman, Dan Miller, just goes on and on. Detroit's been blessed with so many great announcers. And Scott's in the book. I'm in the book, but all the VIPs of sports are in that book as well. You can reach me at gicorn@yahoo.com. Follow me on Twitter at SanGSports99. Also, I'm on LinkedIn. You can reach me there, as well as little bit of time I spend on Instagram and X as well. So great to be part of the show, guys, with you tonight, talking puck talk.
Right.
Okay. Oh, all right, Taylor. Let's have
I am
your
the
intro.
I am the creator of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast. It is on YouTube. Subscribe to that with awesome screen sharing. Turn on all notifications on that bell icon. Click or tap on live to find its latest full episodes. Also, our shorts videos as well. Also, in audio form on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music /Audible, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and Jio Salmon. Also on social media on X, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page as well. Also, a shout out to Chris Castellani for following my podcast on X.
Great stuff. Glad you're growing. Taylor, glad to have you part of the network as well. Appreciate your contribution,
Yes.
not only in social media, but your ability to move around where you're at too. So with that said, that takes care of business for the Sports Wrap tonight. Shout out to JD Wyatt as well, the other people I mentioned in the chat room earlier. Coming up afterwards, JD Wyatt and Candy Emily lead our coverage over to the Country Club Fire Up. So on behalf of Taylor Phillips, Cody Spink, and George Eichhorn, my name is Scott Morgan, Rock and Motor City Madmouth. Thanking you for joining us on this edition of Sports Wrap, and we'll do another broadcast next Thursday night. Take care, everybody, and we'll on over to see Candy in the Country Club with JD Wyatt. They got a good show lined up, and hope you can go out there and participate. Great stuff, and we'll see you next Thursday night. Good night, everybody.